Hey, what's going on? It's Scott. I hope this video finds you're doing great. I worked in law enforcement for almost 15 years, and I figure I might as well, if you're new to policing or want to get into policing, I'll talk to you about all that I learned throughout my career from others and what I picked up myself, and particularly not finding yourself in a fight. That's what this video is all about. How to increase your odds of not fighting someone, because I can tell you right now, all throughout my career, I hated fighting. Even though I trained year after year after year, I hated it still, because when you're in a fight, even if you're well trained, you can't always see a person's hands. You can't always see around you if someone's coming up. So please, if you're new to it, or if you want to get into it, use of force is only applied when necessary, and it has to be a reasonable amount of force. It can't just be out of control and whenever you feel like it. Absolutely not. Get your mind right. First thing is effective communication. I've made several videos on effective communication, but also, boom, you see a link appearing right now. You need to watch that video if you want to get the full macro view and de-escalation techniques using this valuable resource or tool. Your mouth, what you say and how you say it, is imperative in possibly increasing your chances of talking someone down from fighting. Say, for example, they say they're not going to go to jail and they're going to fight you. You still have the ability to talk them down. Will they listen? That's up to them, but at least you're putting forth the effort if time allows. And remember, if time's on your side, use this. Use your mouth to effectively communicate. So you've heard me say it before. I'll say it again till I'm blue in the face. Respect, empathy, calmness, professionalism, they go a long way. Now, here's personally what I used when someone was very heated and or I was in a moment where I had to place them under arrest and they were making it very clear they were not going to go to jail. I would say, why do you feel the need to fight? Let's just do this peacefully. Something along those lines. Or what I would do, particularly if someone was mad at me or other officers or their family members or whatever, if someone was mad and they were clearly their temper was getting there and I was thinking, oh my gosh, this might go into a fight. If they were wearing a sports team jersey, I would say, how long have you been a Braves fan? Or how long have you been a 49ers fan? I would just do something to connect with them and at least relate to them as a person, rather than just barking commands all the time. I went to one call in particular in a neighborhood where a young man had to be served with involuntary commitment papers, and he was pacing back and forth because he didn't want to go to the hospital, yet we were obligated to take him per the law. And when I arrived, there was one officer there who was just saying, "Sir, I'll spray you. Sir, I'll pepper spray you. Sir, I'll pepper spray you." And that's all the officer was saying. And the guy was just pacing back and forth. I said, man, we're just here to serve commitment papers. You're not under arrest. You're not in trouble with me. Do you mind going with us peacefully? He just said, oh, yeah. Now, look, it didn't always go down that way. But when you arrive on scene and you're the calm one, typically you can bring people down. It's a lot easier to talk your way out of a fight than it is being in the fight. Now, one of the things you obviously have to do is assess the situation. Who is around? Because if there's a group of people and it's just you and another officer, that's up for you to decide. One time I went to an apartment complex looking for somebody. However, I found another guy and he had a warrant out for his arrest. I knew he had a warrant, but I waited for other officers to get there before I implemented the process of trying to place him under arrest. He knew something was up, but I just kept making small talk with him considering we were looking for another person. And he said, no, man, I haven't seen that person. I haven't seen that person. Finally, another officer arrived, because I didn't know how many people were in the apartment facing behind this suspect. And right as he saw the other officer arrive and we said, you have a warrant, he bolted inside, and unfortunately he resisted. And I ended up picking him up, pulling him outside, and then we placed him under arrest outside because I did not want to stay in that apartment. You have to assess the situation. I didn't just get out of the car and say, "Sir, stop right there. You have a warrant. You're under arrest." I had no backup with me. Why would I put myself in that position? Play it cool as often as you can and assess the situation. The next thing is body language. If you're just standing there with, say, your hands on your waist just casually, never with your hands in your pockets, because that's a slower reactionary time, but you don't want to stand there in an apprehensive stance. If you're talking to someone face to face with them and then all of a sudden you put one foot back and blade your body, that demonstrates you're ready to do something. You need to be aware of this kind of stuff. Body language is key as well. However, you want to position yourself in a way so that you don't get yourself backed into a corner if it goes south. All right, so those are just some macro level ways of talking yourself out of a fight. I can't emphasize them enough. Be calm, be professional, be empathetic, be respectful. I know it's not always easy. However, there comes a time when, say, someone has a warrant, or you have to protect other people from a person who's trying to attack them, whatever the situation is, where you are authorized per the law to place this person in arrest, and then they resist, or they're, like I've said before, actively attacking someone else, and you have to gain control of them. Here's how you avoid fighting, because a fight is when two people are going at it, essentially trying to win. When you are authorized to use that force, it is up to you to be well trained enough to apply it so effectively that essentially you don't let it turn into a fight. I hope that makes sense. I am very grateful that I invested my time into training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga. And yes, there were moves that I could never use because I would get in instant trouble. But there were plenty of moves that I could utilize to gain control of someone when I had no other choice. Most of the time, I got control of the person so fast that there was no fight. I was in control the whole entire time. Police officers cannot rely on the training they got in the academy or the once-a-year defensive tactics training they get. It's impossible. You just can't. If you have to think about a move, then chances are it's already too late to apply that move. An officer is more likely to have to control someone than they are actually getting in a shootout. I'm not saying don't train with your firearms. I know bullets are expensive. That's why I recommend dry firing. But back on track. Get on the mats. You will more than likely have to control someone at some point. Get on the mats. I beg you. And the good thing is it will help improve your quality of life too, because you'll be more fit, you'll be more mentally fit, you'll have friends outside of the profession, and it's a good recreational activity. But yes, be careful you don't get injured like I did a few times. All right, anyway, moving on. So when it comes time to grab control of someone, you have to be committed. You have to absolutely be committed. Explode with that technique that is reasonable and necessary, and don't let it turn into an out of control fight. Now, were there times when I got slapped, I got kicked? Yes, but at least I knew what to do after that. However, I'm going to reiterate, it doesn't always have to get to that point. Talk professionalism, respect, empathy, knowing that people are mad at the uniform or other people, not at you. So you can't take it personal, and you have to demonstrate that you're the one that can understand where they're coming from and can convey that through effective communication. That's how you increase your chances of talking your way out of a fight. I wish you nothing but the best, particularly if you're new to law enforcement, or heck, even if you've been on for 30 years and you came across this video. Take care of yourself, be vigilant, stay well, and do great for yourself. That way you can do that much better for others. Take care, and I look forward to talking to you again. May God bless.